When people ask me how I'm doing, I say I'm fine generally. I think that's what everybody does. But for me, that's not a real appropriate answer either, because a lot of the time I'm not fine.
In recent years, mental health has been discussed a lot more openly, and for good reason. It is one of the most prevalent issues across our world, and almost every single person either deals with or knows someone who goes through mental health struggles. We all should care about our mental health, and should devote time to sharing our thoughts to the people we trust. Yet, a lot of us don't. We bottle in the thoughts and ideas that we should be letting go of by sharing. So that is my first tip. Talk about what's going on. But I'm not just going to leave you with that one piece of advice. In this video, I want to go in depth about how to improve your mental health based on the type of situation you might find yourself in. Whether you are having an excellent day or have just gone through a hard moment, your mental health matters, and running away from what you are thinking won't solve the problem. We have to understand ourselves, whether we are enjoying or hating life. And today, I'd like to take a little time to help you with that. So let's get started. I feel like in most discussions of mental health, people only talk about how to deal with negative thoughts and hardships. But I think what's just as important is understanding your mental state during the good times and how to extend that feeling as long as possible. If you want to prolong positive feelings, all you need to keep in mind is gratitude. We can practice gratitude in a lot of different ways, both in acts for ourselves and for others. The first and most important way to express gratitude is by appreciating the moment and actually taking in times where you feel at peace and happy with your current state. I think it's common for us to kind of check out when we feel good. At least that's what it's felt like for me sometimes. I have recently been trying to take in moments when I feel proud, grateful, and overall positive. I ask myself how I got to this moment in the day, what actions I took to make myself feel good. I then write these down when I journal before I go to bed, and remember them so I can replicate my behavior in the future. This is just one example of learning from positive moments, and there's a whole other side where you can show gratitude by acting for others. If you are feeling good and want to keep that positive momentum, spread it into the world. Do an act of kindness, compliment someone on something they're wearing, be extra kind to someone who might assist you that day. When you spread kindness out into the world, some of that positivity will always be returned to you, which keeps you in good spirits for longer. In addition to appreciating the moment and practicing gratitude, I always keep this thought in mind. No matter what situation I am faced with in the future, I will always return to a peaceful state. I believe that peace is the best state to be in, even over being happy, because it is much easier to keep the feeling going. You can't always be super happy, but you can be relatively at peace often, if you appreciate every moment and be grateful for the positive parts of your life. While it's great to think of life as one big peaceful ride, that just isn't reality. We all know this. While most days can be easygoing, there will inevitably be many moments where you are challenged by something, and how you respond can heavily influence your mental health. I want to dedicate some time to discuss how we can deal with uncomfortable experiences by walking through common feelings and behaviors. The most prevalent scenario is flight, or simply failing to face the challenge. For example, let's say someone wants to ask another person out, but right before they walk up to the person, they freak out and call it off. But what really happened? Because they didn't actually fail the situation itself. They didn't even make it there. What usually happens is that before we can even confront an uncomfortable situation, we run for many different reasons. It could be past failures and thinking about them leading up to the moment, or simply fear of the worst possible scenario becoming a reality. It could be overthinking to the point where you get lost in your head and can't be yourself anymore, so you have to give up. If you ever experienced these feelings before, the only thing you need to do to fix them is simple: slow down. It's very easy to get your mind racing about challenging moments. Take a breath and reset yourself. You might not be able to completely erase the nerves, but that's okay. Nobody has zero fears or is 100% calm all of the time. What you can do though is acknowledge the two choices you have: fight or flight. These are permanently ingrained into all of us, and they appear in every situation that brings uncomfortable feelings. Tell yourself every time you feel the nerves coming, you have two options: face the situation or don't. It's as simple as that, and there is no area for debate. But if you still need a little boost of confidence to push you to fight, use your memories to help. Think about a past time you faced uncomfortability and the positive feelings that came after. You can feel that again, but you can't run. You have to face it. Without a doubt, our mental health is the most fragile when we are faced with negativity, whether it's from something external or from ourselves. Yet, this is when we need to be the strongest. Unfortunately though, that thought is a little too optimistic. We should be at our strongest, but you and I know what negativity can do to derail a healthy train of thought. I think what I've realized after having so many low moments is that the first step towards overcoming them is acceptance. You can't get upset with yourself for falling into a poor mind state. That will only make things worse. Additionally, you need to acknowledge what you are feeling. You can't distract yourself or try to refocus your mind. The negative thoughts are there, and they have to be understood. So that is where you begin. Accept the negative feelings and make an attempt to understand yourself. If you have someone you can go to, please do that first. If you don't, or simply can't find anyone at the moment, just say it out loud. I believe that getting the thoughts out of your head instantly gives you a new perspective and allows you to begin a healthy train of thought. Even after this though, you may still feel down, and that's okay. It's normal to process your thoughts and still experience sadness or negative feelings, but that doesn't mean you can't do anything about it. In order to get yourself moving forward again, you have to develop methods that bring you fulfillment and positive emotions. I cannot tell you how much time I could have saved if I started this earlier. For me, I like to change the setting after I've dealt with some negative emotions or thoughts. I think leaving whatever room you are currently in, maybe even adding on a walk outside, can provide a beneficial reset that can put you back into a positive mind state. But it's a process that is mastered through trial and error. You have to figure out what works for you. Think of it like a stepladder. When you get hit with a negative wave, you get knocked down to the bottom. Accept where you are and use the tools you gain through experience to climb back up. We can't avoid negative emotions. It's the principle of duality. But what we can do is learn to work through them a lot faster and get back to enjoying life. To close out, I want to offer a few general pieces of advice regarding mental health. First, even if you don't feel like you have any serious mental health struggles, I would still recommend practicing methods for maintaining a healthy mind state. You should always care about your mental health, no matter how easy or hard your life is right now. And if you are struggling and have an urge to open up, don't hesitate or doubt yourself. People will care what you have to say. Just be as open as possible about what's going on. Finally, remember that knowing yourself is a long-term goal. It won't be done in a few days. There are a lot of steps towards comprehending why you think or act in a certain way, but we can all reach a state of self-understanding. Today, I hope that I helped you a little in that process. As always, this has been Dark Horse, and I will see you in the next video.